Welcome to Planning Phase Syndicate. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. This is episode 64 of our weekly Star Wars Unlimited episodes. Yes, folks, 64 plus the 150-something X-Wing episodes we have. We've been here 3 years. We're coming up. I think we just passed our 3-year anniversary, something like that, as a podcast. So thank you all so much if you have been part of it for that long. Tonight we are going to be it's going to be a little bit more of a lighter episode tonight. I won't lie and say I didn't put a ton of effort into tonight, in the fact that I've been play testing a lot of new decks, and I just kind of want to do some fun things because next week we have pre-release weekend for anybody who celebrates. So it's going to be kind of cool for that. We're going to cover tonight. We got 3 new decks. I promise you we'd talk about from leaders that you probably think we should not have built decks for. So I thought it would be fun. Let's build some decks for it. The guys, I don't know if they've played their decks. I've been playing mine, and I'm hitting like a 55 to 60% win rate with mine. So like it's obviously not as bad as I thought it was going to be. So there's that. But also tonight we're going to talk about, we decided to do a top 10 cards to watch for, but we're going to do it with ones that we're excited about. So instead of just saying, hey, let's just cover the legendaries, let's just cover these. We're going to cover ones that we've either been testing with or ones that we are very, very excited to talk about. And if that wasn't enough, we're going to also cover the legendary showcases and all the prestige stuff that is coming out as well. With that being said, let's bring in my co-host for tonight. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Benchwarmer himself, Alex. How are you tonight, sir?
Oh, I'm doing okay. I don't know what I'm going to play for tomorrow at locals. It's pretty much, everyone's in a holding pattern because pre-release is this upcoming week. So I'll probably just play my Endless Legions mono green Palp Data Vault deck again. It's got Annihilator, and that's really funny.
They bring it out and annihilate somebody.
Hey, I dropped an Annihilator on someone with that deck with Endless Legions, and thankfully they did not Nebula Ignition me, or else it would have been catastrophic.
You would have cried a little bit. They probably don't run that card. Nobody probably runs that card but you. So
they had it in their deck. They just didn't draw it.
Well, that's good that they did not get it.
Also, I was really upset. I played a game against someone, and the first thing they did was play Jam Communications to take the Endless Legions out of my hand.
Oh,
it's like, why do you hate me personally?
I would have left it and just said, if you can get to it, then let's talk, baby.
I got to it every game.
Even after they shipped it out of your hand, how'd you get to it then?
I'm running more than one.
Oh, okay.
No, I won before that. Before Endless Legions would have been a thing, but he personally hurt me.
Fair enough. Also joining us with audio and a video that is not working quite yet. JJ, how are you tonight, sir?
Doing all right, man. Excited for pre-release weekend, although because I'm traveling this weekend, I'm going to miss all the events, unfortunately, which sucks. But I've definitely been playing around, especially with Morgan Elsbeth. I'm trying to find like a nice balance for her. I've been running her with blue, and she's been pretty decent so far. Not as good a success as I've had with Thrawn, but she's pretty cool for what I can do so far. It's just for her, I'm running 3 different keywords in the deck. One of them is lighter than the other, but like if I could get the exact timing right for the keywords, then she actually is pretty decent. So, but I'll cover that deck later on.
Awesome. Well, that's good. Happy pre-release eve, everyone. It's weird. I hate that they do this on 4th of July week. I despise it. I actually wish FFG please change this, because we moved our pre-release to Wednesday. I didn't know what else to do. Like literally everybody at my local store said they're going to be gone this weekend, except for one guy. And he was like, well, we got another store too. So if you just move yours, I don't have to move mine. I was like, all right, fine. I'll just move ours to Wednesday, which is, again, it's fine. It's not like a big deal. It's just, I don't know. There are pre-releases going on.
They did it 2 years in a row.
Yes. Yeah, you would think that they would have learned the first year. And like, I know that they want to get product out to people. And like, now that we're able to sell the product ahead of time, when you have your pre-release, like I get it. It is something that makes a lot of sense. It's just, I don't know. For me, we're not going anywhere. Like I'm going earlier in the week. So we're going to Weird Al. I bought tickets for the whole family. I bought 8 effing tickets. So we're all going to see Weird Al in Detroit on Wednesday this week. And then I took Thursday off and we have Friday off. So like I just have a long weekend. And it sucks. My son's birthday is on Thursday. And then we usually celebrate on the weekend, but this time he doesn't have to work. And I was like, well, we could go to a pre-release because they have one. Somebody's running one and it's at a bar. So like I'll buy you drinks if you want. Like, and we could go to a pre-release, and because I don't know how many people are going to even go to that, like 4 people, maybe. I have no idea. I don't know. So, but then my schedule is like, I don't know how many to go to and how many boxes to buy now. Like, I think I've decided on not buying a carbon. I'm going to buy 1 carbonite box if I can get it, and that's it. And then I'm not going to buy carbonite boxes because I don't care about the artwork like I thought I would. I genuinely don't like it compared to last set, and I was told I would, and I do not. So I do not like it that much.
Some of them are really cool.
Yeah, some of them are fine and some of them are awful. So we'll talk about that tonight. That's why I put them in there. I was like, well, we should actually go through these because like they're gonna be a thing. But so like I don't know whether to buy a full case, and then like because I'm running a pre-release, I'm going to at least 1 other pre-release. So I'm going to 1, I'm running 1, so I'm at least at 2, possibly 3, and maybe a 4th if I go Monday to 1. So I don't know. Like this, it's just a lot of boxes.
Yeah, that is a lot.
Yeah, I know I'm going to run 1 or running 2 actually. I'm running 2. 1 for Excel, 1 for Destiny, and then I'll be going to RAW on Tuesday, and then probably 1 over the weekend if I can afford it.
Are you guys doing 1 this weekend?
Well, let's see. So like Excel's is a week from today on Sunday.
Okay.
Because they didn't want to do it 4th of July, and I'm running that one. And then Destiny's on Monday, and I'm running that. RAW's is on Tuesday. I'll be participating in that one, and I'll probably go to 1 either Friday or Saturday, depending. Oh no, not Saturday. Yeah, Friday. Maybe I'll do 1 on 4th of July because I'm not doing anything. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I can't. That I can't do. I'll say if you got 1 you're going to on Saturday, I actually might just drive out there for that because we're not going away this weekend. We spent our money on Weird Al. So, that was our going. That was our like fun little thing that we get to do. So
no, I'll be working at Excel on Saturday, so I can't go during the day. Tragically.
Fair enough. JJ, do you have any pre-releases you're looking forward to?
Well, the ones are happening are going to be over the weekend, and unfortunately, I'm going to be out. So yeah, it's sad, but hope to catch maybe some releases while I'm out in Ohio. I've been looking around, but I haven't seen it. But if anybody who's out in Ohio, over in the Cleveland area, knows of any pre-release events that's happening over the week, please let me know. Send me a message here on our Discord, or you can send me a message directly on Discord and let me know. I would definitely love to drive out and try to hit a pre-release while I'm out there if possible. If not, I'll try to catch some boxes on my way back or something.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, if you want to make the trip up into Detroit or into Grand Rapids, I mean, you could.
Seriously considering it. Yep.
You could actually come that Wednesday if you wanted to. If you could get out of work early enough, you could come make the trip to see us. You could crash on my couch. I have an extra couch. It's warm. I will always warm in the house, though, just FYI.
And then be back in Cleveland for 8 o'clock. Yeah, no.
Yeah. Either which way. So, all right. Anyway, well, the first thing I wanted to do tonight is I want to talk about the top 10 most exciting cards that we found. So this is not your typical top 10 list. Alex said, hey, let's do something a little bit different than what other people are doing. And so instead of just saying, let's go look at the legendaries or let's look at the cards we think are the top 10 cards, we're looking at what excites us the most. They're probably going to have some crossover with some of the cards that are probably the best cards in the set. So I'm not telling you this is the top 10 best cards in the set, but these are the top 10 most anticipated cards based on testing we've done and based on our preference of play style and maybe even a little bit about the artwork.
Hell yeah.
All right. So the way I set it up is we're going to do 3 at a time. We'll do the top 10, 10, 9, and 8. Well, I separated them by each person. We aren't going to spend 20 hours conversing, but we could talk a little bit about them because there's some interesting picks in here. We'll let Alex go first. Alex, what is your top 10 card?
Owen Lars, actually. Just the really good moisture farmer, right? Just like the movies.
He is a moisture farmer too, so
I know that's what I mean. Like, no, I like this card a lot. I feel like it can fit pretty well into a fair amount of like the blue force decks, right? Because like if your opponent doesn't kill it, you're just restoring 2 every turn, which is really nice. And when your opponent does eventually get around to killing it, you just get a force card of your choice off the top 5, which is really nice. I mean, I also plan on playing it with Ray, so like Ray just pumps it up, which is really cool. But I think he just like has he's a solid like support card for a lot of like blue force decks. And then the fact that he's not heroic is also pretty relevant because villainy doesn't tend to have a lot of restore, even if in blue.
And it does give him some draw, quite a bit of draw. Like, so he kind of can fit into, like, if you want to make a Kylo deck, he fits into the Kylo decks all of a sudden, and all sorts of crazy stuff. So, JJ, what is your top 10 card?
Yeah, so for me, my card, I picked Darth Sidious, who's the villainy blue 8-cost leader, or not leader, ground unit, that comes in with 6 attack, 8 health. The reason why I chose it is because when he comes in, he has the potential to do like a mass amount of damage to a lot of lesser units, especially if you're running or you're facing off against like particular decks that tend to run like a lot of token units out there. When Darth Sidious deploys, you're able to defeat all of those units at once, as long as they have 3 or less health remaining. And it's just such a great way to help you wipe the board. It almost feels like a overwhelming barrage, but then now you have a unit that can restore and still do attacks. There's a lot of different decks that can take advantage of this particular ability. And Sidious all around is just such a great unit to have on the board. It just has that border wiping effect, has a really great attack and health, and then on top of that has the ability to restore. And all around, it's a really, really solid unit.
It's funny with that card too, is somebody played that against me, and they played it with like that 2 Sith card or whatever that was called.
Yeah.
And that they should have just named Rule of 2, but they didn't.
Yeah.
Always 2.
Always 2.
I know that's dumb. Just call it Rule of 2 and let's I would have been happier. But they played that with me with that card. I think JJ's just traumatized because of my Vader deck, because I played Vader against him so often. It would before anybody else knew what Vader was. And like, I think JJ's just traumatized still.
Well, there's not a lot like not a lot of Sith specific cards, right? So like you have a pretty decent potential of wiping out a fair amount of stuff.
Yes. Yeah. All right, my top 10 is even crazier. How about that? I picked the N1 Starfighter. You want to know why? Because I wanted a 2-drop, 3/2, and yellow. That's why I wanted something that has 3 damage, can come in on turn 1, and is a space unit. And I think the artwork is absolutely stunning on this. To be perfectly frank with you, if I could find a mat with that artwork on it, I probably would buy that. That would definitely be it.
And your opponents can't pay 4 and steal it.
Yep, and they can't pay 4 and steal it. Like, it's just like, this is not that hero needed, not that yellow hero needed something, but I'll tell you what, it has, like, I have replaced a lot of my, like, the A-Wing was one of your top cards everybody always played. This at least trades with it now. Like, this now trades. You have 1 less health, but you always get the unit. And I don't know. I love this card a lot, and usually I'm using it to kill something that they have, or I could throw somebody on it. You put Anakin on it, it's pretty nice, because then it's like a 5/5 that they have to deal with. But I don't know, I like it. I think that's, like, to me, that was one of the top cards that we got out of the set. Like, personally, just like it really rounds out that color suite.
It filled a hole that was kind of missing in yellow, where they're just like, well, they don't really have a 3 attacker too much.
Yeah. And the nice part about it is because you get to have it, like, I understand, like, you have the fireball, right? The fireball was like that. And the fireball is
Yeah.
still a great card, but it does 1 damage to itself. So if it hits anything when you ambush it in, like it's still doing damage to itself, and
Yeah, it probably just dies, which
yeah,
is kind of not what you want.
exactly. And this allows you. This is non-unique, so I can play as many of them as up to 3. I guess it's not a vulture droid, folks, but I don't know. I like it. I think it's really good. So we're gonna move on to the number 9 slot. In 9th slot, JJ, you have Ezra. Why did you pick Ezra?
Yeah, I mean, he's a 3-cost blue and heroic aspect unit that has a ton of keyword or a ton of traits. So he fits in a lot of different units on here. I absolutely like this in a variety of different decks. Actually, I've actually used him in Sabine as a replacement, and he actually feels really, really good on there. Just having other Spectre units that he can buff, like Sabine herself, for instance. He does really, really well in just buffing those other units when he's attacking. So he, especially at the time when he does, right? Because you can deploy him on 3 if your opponent doesn't take him out. You can deploy Sabine as your leader, and then when Ezra attacks, you can give Sabine that experience and then attack for 3 and still has 5 health, which is really good for a 3-cost ground unit, and just keeps on buffing all those other units. Same thing if you have like Sabine's Masterpiece on the space side over there. I mean, there's just a lot of uses for Ezra in a lot of different decks. Also works really well in a Kanan deck as well. Overall, there's just a lot of utility for Ezra, so definitely in my top 9.
Alex, what was yours?
I had Shan Flurry. But it is worth noting that like Ezra's 4 keywords are really good, and 3/5 body and 3 is very strong. But yes, I had Shan Flurry. Play a force unit, give it ambush, prevent 2 damage. Just really nice to have a card that lets you attack with a force unit basically immediately if they're controlling your force units to get the force back, or for the first time in that game, like Padawan was a youngling. I mean, that's a really solid card too, but Shan Flurry is just nice to have. Like, I don't have the force and I needed help, and then you have it now. And also, you prevent 2 damage and ambush something, which is really nice.
Yeah, it's kind of like a timely intervention that you can't smuggle out, but if you're going to be running all force units, like it works out very, very well. So
yeah, just mostly because it gives you the force back is why I think it's pretty nice, or the force in general.
Yeah. In my 9th spot, I have Kellerin, which I know that's probably a little controversial because he is actually really good. What I have found with Kellerin through testing and things like that is A, he dies all the time, and B, I don't like him as much as I like Home 1, but he has 1 cheaper. I just like Home 1 so much better, and but I think in terms of this set, like because of what he can do, he doesn't have like the keyword restrictions like some of the other people do. So like because he doesn't have a restriction, like Owen is force, right? Kellerin is you just pay something for 3 less. You could combine him in a deck with, Home 1, and they do very similar-ish type things, which makes it really nice if you want to be able to take things out of your deck. I don't like that it doesn't come out of your graveyard though, because that would be so much better if that's where it did, because that's what Home 1 does. But I don't know. I think he's really good. He is extremely good with Shan Flurry, by the way. Then I love him with Shan Flurry. If you have that as a replacement, but I don't know. I think, like I said, I think he's really good. I think he's a solid roundabout thing. I have him lower than some other stuff personally, just because I think in that spot, that 7-cost spot, I think there's a lot of other cool stuff, and I found other cards I personally would rather play in that spot than him. But still, I mean, top 10 is still pretty good out of 256 damn cards. So
Yeah, it's good.
All right, what do we move on to number 8? Alex, you have the Dark Lord himself.
I do have Vader. I feel like I'm far more down on Vader than a lot of other people. I think he's fine. Like, obviously, if you ambush him out, he's really good. I'm not sure if you want to run ECL with him, even though it fits really well in ECL. But if you're trying to build a green-blue villainy deck, you tend to want to go long. So having the 25 health base is probably not what you want. So time leaves would be great. I just think he can mess up certain things pretty well. The loop with like Lom Pike seems like interesting in my head, but I haven't really messed around with them too much. But it's also like Darth Vader, and that's pretty cool. Like I feel like there's ways you can work around to make him decently effective.
Yeah,
But we'll see how much play he gets. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people are very high on him.
Yeah,
I think he's good. I don't think he's like the craziest card.
wait till you see where he fits in my box.
Yeah, I was gonna say in my box I actually had him as number one, and the reason being is that like you had he is so versatile in all the different type of decks that you have. I mean, you put him in Iden, he's really good. If you put him in a Gar Saxon deck, he can already shield himself. He already gets that attack buff if he wants to, and then you can like eliminate somebody. Putting him out in a Kira deck, also really solid. I mean, there's just so much utility for Vader across the board, and being able to automatically just eliminate a unit that's shielded, and you get to choose. I mean, it's super strong for his cost. It's a 6 cost as well. And what's great is that you can, since he's a 6 cost, you can ECL him out if you have that base on there. So that's like an instant kill, and you're buffing one of your units on there. There's not many units that can do that right off the bat for what he can for that cost. So that's why I have him so much higher on my list.
You weren't supposed to tell anybody it was a secret. That's okay.
All right, delete, censor.
Yeah,
I have Vader, and not even in my top 10. So there you go. I do genuinely like Vader. I think that when old Vader rotates, fine, like he can take that spot. But I don't know. Like he's great with Timely, and that's fine. And he's great with ECL if you really want to run an ECL base. But if the problem I have with it is like you're running that thin line, and like I have found now you're tighter in cards, which makes it a lot harder, in my opinion, to deal with like what do you want to cut for him, and like once his shield is gone and once you've done your little Vader shenanigans, if you don't have ways to give shields to things very easily, Vader is just a 5/6 that sits there and dies. Like I don't care about him. Like Anakin
there's a lot of counterplay around him.
Yeah. I do think his on-playability is great. We were very high on him when he came out. Yes, like he was like we couldn't believe that. I don't think we couldn't believe. If you go back and watch our episode, we didn't understand why they made him. But I'll be honest with you, like the longer I've tested with him, is he part of my 60? Yes. Is he part of my 70? Yes. Is he part of like do I build a deck around him? No. And in fairness, I've resourced him more than other cards, I guess. So
yeah, I'm not sure if my feelings on him have changed really since we first revealed him. I think I was more down on him than you guys were.
Maybe. All right, JJ, what is your number 8?
My number 8 is Doom. It's the double blue aspect for cost 2 attack, 7 health, force creature. I am surprisingly much more higher on Doom than I originally thought I would be, mainly because he does fit in a lot of different like leaders that can do double blue. Even if you're paying that extra aspect penalty at 6, I still think it's worth it. They're quite a different, and again, I'm going to go back to Gar Saxon because I've been playing him a lot as well. But being able to give out experience to a lot of other friendly units that are non-vehicle is pretty easy to do, especially when you're able to deploy it at 4. There are a lot of units that can really benefit off of that, especially if you're running him along with like Mandalorians that get that benefit of having buff whenever they get any type of other buffs on top of that as well. And it actually does play pretty well in some of the decks that want to play aggressive and have like a lot of big attacks out there. I definitely like having this particular unit out there, especially if you can get a Sentinel out in front of it as well. Just being able to constantly buff all of your other units regularly. If your opponent has no answer to take out Dune, you're going to easily get 2 to 3 experience out on all your units easily. So I like this unit a lot. It definitely plays a lot more towards more ground heavy decks, but still, it's great. I like it.
Nah, just put the Purgles in space. They're creatures. They're
Oh,
not
heck
vehicles.
yeah,
They
man.
are.
Yep.
I was playing against a guy that had a double blue like Kanan deck, and he played this and then put a Sentinel down, and I could not kill Dune to save. I just couldn't do it. There was nothing I could do to, and then he put a Purgle out, and he put another Purgle out, and then like they just all kept experience, and then in one turn he did like 15 damage to my base, and he just like won, and it's like, oh god, this is sad. I love the artwork. I will tell you, like out of the prestiges, like that one, if I get a serialized of that one, I'm not selling it. Like that thing is a beauty. I love that one so much.
Yeah, it's definitely up there for like the wavy background art. I think that might be my favorite prestige,
Yes, hands
but
down,
not the
it is
murals
just so
or anything
good.
like that.
Yeah.
Okay, Tanner, what do you got for your 8th?
My number 8 is Psychometry, which I'll be honest, I didn't think I think a lot of people are down on this card, and I have found this card, and maybe this is because everybody's playing a discard meta, and I cannot stand being my whole hand being discarded. I love this card for the fact that I get to be able to search for a card that has a trait, and because if you're running something like if you're running Force, you're gonna cry, right? Or not cry. If you're running Sith, you're gonna cry. If you're running Force, you're not gonna cry because you could pull all sorts of cards out of your deck, and so it helps you tutor cards, and then it also gives you the ability to have a 1-cost Force throw mechanic every time. So like, I don't like it so that I can get rid of it, but I like it because it allows me to draw and do things based on my on a trait aspect. And I thought that would be a really bad type like thing. Like, why do I want to put a card in to draw another card? We've had this before, but I have actually found that this specific card, because it just has to match a trait, is a lot more open than some of the other cards that we've had. And so it has benefited me when I've needed to dig for something that I don't have. Or if you get a bricked hand, this is a great card that allows me to basically get rid of anything. And like, if you're playing an aggro deck, you're pretty much able to draw a card from this pretty easily. So
Yeah, I mean it seems pretty solid. It's 1 cost, so that makes it playable for sure. And like if you're building a Force deck, you know, all your units probably have Force, right? So like,
Yep.
you can easily match a lot of traits with that.
yeah.
Or even if you're doing like a Vader villainy thing, right? Like pilots, you know, you can just choose vehicle trait, right? So like,
Yeah.
I know you're having that in your sideboard. You're thinking about it, so
It was. I've actually been testing it main board now, and I probably shouldn't be. People are telling me it's still bad, but I mean, in discard world meta and in a meta where you need a specific type of card, I've found that it just works better. And because we're building decks that way, it feels really good. It's really good in Thrawn too, by the way, to find win defeated cards.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Or not win defeated cards. Sorry, Sentinel cards when you need the Sentinel cards. So there's a lot of.
How does that work? Are they just like all Imperial, and then you just choose the Imperial trait or something?
Yeah, so a lot, or Trooper. Trooper is
Okay.
is like the big thing that a lot of it is you have. There's a lot of Trooper, Sentinel synergy stuff in there. So
Okay.
All right, let's move on to our number 7s. Alex, we'll let you go first. Your number 7 has my number 9.
Yeah, Caloran back. We already spoke about it a little bit. I like him because you don't have to use the Force, and that's why it's really nice. It's more versatile. just to find a card and play it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think it's like, because it doesn't require the force, that I think it's just being versatile. 7/7 for sevens is, understated, but like, he's got a one play that's really good.
It is. All right, JJ, you had a card that's different.
I love it.
Yes.
So let's talk about your number 7.
Yeah, so this one is actually a surprise for me because I didn't expect it to be as good as it was. But this one is the Purgle King, which is a cost, a green aspect card with 4 attack and 12 health. Comes in with a 4 restore 4, which is huge. That's actually the highest restore that we have so far in the game, and I cannot express how impactful that particularly is when you're trying to restore your health. I mean, that's almost as good as a top target, and you can do this on the regular, and in your opponent, unless they have like a Fell the Dragon or something, like they really have to work to try to take this out. Otherwise, you're just going to regenerate your health on your base really well. And then on top of that, having the ability to draw cards around this time when you're able to play this particular unit. Granted, you can put this in like a ramp deck and get this out sooner, but having, if you're already playing like larger units that have higher health, being able to draw more cards in your hand around this time where your hand is already getting pretty low, pretty thin, is another big benefit of the Purgle King. And then that's kind of sets you up for follow-up turns to drop other units that can help you win the game up there. And this helps you like extend the game if you're running behind on the damage race. So I found this particular card very useful, and I liked it a lot. I ran this in a Canaan deck that I was testing out once, and it was just so great to have that as a unit out on the board.
Yeah, and Fell the Dragon does not touch this thing, by the way. They have to have Vanquish it, Shatterpoint it, or Fell it. Or not Fell it, Rivals.
Rivals, yeah.
I will agree with you in the aspect this has not been high in my testing, just because that 8 cost slot is so tight. But that 4 restore, like, yeah, I had somebody play that against me too, and it's just like, all right, well, I don't know what to do, so I guess I'm just gonna lose. And so you have to think, like, it makes you think about every swing. Like, if I take this swing here, he just restores it. It's like the Luke kind of, of it. So, and I actually think that there's a possibility. Thank you. I think there's a possibility that this could fit into like a Han 2 deck possibly. And this is on our short list for testing. We'll just put it that way. That this card is so.
I like Restore 4. Seems really good. It's a card that I would play for sure because he's gumpy looking. I love it.
I know there should be like a Purgle mat. Do we get to get a Purgle mat at Worlds? That would be nice.
I should make that into a Purgle mat.
That would be cool. We could make it the official planning phase mat. Maybe that's what we do. We'll make it the official planning phase mat. Sell them for
and then get
cheap.
Sued by 17 different people. For using art that's not earth onto a mat.
Well, okay, fine. We won't sell it. We will give it away for Patreon users. There you go.
Yeah,
that doesn't work either.
Stop bursting my bubble, Alex. Let's move on to my number 7, which Chirrut Emery, which I know people probably have. You probably are wondering why I have Chirrut so low. I still think Chirrut is actually really, really good. So the reason I have him lower is because if you walk away from a force deck or a deck that generates force, he's not as good. If you are in a deck where he is going to be generating force all the time, he's just mandatory. So if you're running blue and you're running like force units that are going to like the force base, he's mandatory. He then becomes pretty much like your number 1 or 2 of the whole set, just because he's that good. He is not good though if you are not running a force-based deck. Like I tested him out in Kira, and I didn't like him because it didn't work very well. Like he's a 3/3 shielded sentinel, and I could do that with anything else. And so if you're running a force deck, he is better than my 7 slot. If you want to take the overall set, though, I think if you want to be broad with a little bit broader of a stroke, I don't think he's as good overall. But he's still amazing though. I don't know. Fucking Han Blue 2 just loves this card. All right, we move on to our number 6s. All right, I'll go first. How about that? I'll go first, and then we'll go backwards this time. We're gonna throw off the
serpentining.
thing. Yeah, well, it's serpentining. I will pick Quinlan Voss as my number 6. And I have, most people are running Force Red, so you put Quinlan in this deck, and he is a pseudo sentinel. They have to kill him because you could do so many things to him. You could put a lightsaber on him. You could put a hidden blaster, by the way, on him, and he just does extra damage to the base. You can surprise strike with him, anything, and it just does extra damage. He's a Force unit. He's 4 cost. The artwork is hilariously awesome. I do not like his prestige, though. So I'll just state that now. I don't like the prestige. I don't know if JJ's seen the prestige yet or not, but I don't like the prestige.
Yeah, I agree.
But I do like this hyperspace, so I just think he's a really good card. I have stopped playing Asajj with him. I have found Asajj is not needed with him. Like, I would rather just focus on him, and the Asajj him combo is a niche thing to get off. I don't know. He still works very well with Asajj in a now there are 2 of them decks, but he's just a really good card overall, I think.
Yeah.
All right. Next.
I'll do my number 6, yeah.
Okay.
Why not? Okay. So I got Jedi in hiding, 3/3 hidden for 3. Basically, you can play it if you are behind on generating the Force because they're controlling your units. He helps a lot because he's hidden. And then when defeated, you just also rip a card from their hand, which is very nice. I think it's just a really solid 3-drop, and it being like a neutral red can fit in a lot of spaces. The 3 slot is pretty competitive for a lot of decks. But
yeah,
you can sneak attack him in.
Yeah.
And he's dirty if you sneak attack him in because they can't kill him because he's hidden.
Right. You can do it on the first turn too.
Yep. And then you rip a card.
Yep. And then you swing, you get the Force, and he dies, and then you rip a card. And then you have no board, but you took a card out of their hand.
You did. And you got the Force, baby.
I mean, granted, I guess you could have attacked on their unit if they have 3 or less health. Sure. But yeah, no, I think this is a really solid, generically good card that can help with certain decks, especially if you're running like a heavy discard deck.
I have a dumb question. Can you use Qui-Gon's ability on him if you don't have like another card to play that's cheaper? Like, can you bring him in, sneak attack him in, right, and use him to do whatever you want, whatever you do, and then just pick him back up?
I believe so, right? Because you just do as much as you can, right? Which is just return a friendly none, and then there's a period.
That was my thought too, but I didn't know for sure. I guess I haven't tested that. So.
Yeah, I mean, you don't get like the when defeated ability off of it.
Sure.
But yeah. You get a ready 3/3 hidden guy.
All right. Okay. So JJ, what is your number 6?
It's going to be the 5-cost yellow aspect legacy run. This one coming in at 3 and 3 with Republic vehicle and transport, and this one has the when defeated ability, which you get to deal 6 damage divided as you choose among enemy units. Absolutely love this particular card here. Number 1, it is I think an automatic add-on for Rio, mainly because it ends up buffing this as a transport if you put him on there, and having that big glass cannon that can go in, deal damage to a unit, even if it's like a sentinel piece, and then being able to make it explode and deal damage to whoever you choose across the board for 6 is really, really good. And on top of that, running this in a JTL Thrawn yellow, having this happen twice, dealing 12 damage amongst different troops, this is much stronger than like an overwhelming barrage. So like I like this card a lot. It just helps clear the board very well if your opponent like isn't prepared for it, and you can fit this in a lot of different uses. It's always great to have the ability to have the agency to choose your targets when dealing this particular amount of damage. It is really good. It helps really clear the board. It helps control the board, prevents your opponent from really amassing a lot of different units. Or if you have a really big priority unit you want to take out, you can, assuming even if it's in space, you can even put in 9 damage at once with this. I definitely like this card a lot. I think that it has a lot of uses for a lot of different yellow decks for sure.
Thank God Django doesn't exist. Could you
hell
imagine playing this with Django?
Jeez.
I agree with you. I actually like this in Thrawn as well.
Yeah.
It is sneaky good. Sneaky good.
Oh yeah.
It might be sneaky good in Grand Inquisitor as well.
Oh yeah, Grand Inquisitor.
Because it's 3, you can spend 2 to ready it up and then just throw it into things. Or like if they don't have anything to kill it into, do 2 damage to it, swing for 3. Next turn, just do Grand Inquisitor's ability on it and kill it.
Yep.
So I think it could fit in a couple different decks, and that's kind of cool.
Yeah. And it has an amazing artwork, so there you go.
Yeah, it does.
And that's the best. It's the staple of the High Republic. All right, let's move on to my number 5 is Grogu, baby Grogu, which I originally thought this was a dumb card and didn't like it, and now I absolutely love this card, and I put him in more decks than I probably should. But I will tell you, like, just the fact that he gets to come in hidden is really good. And then he also can move damage around. And like, okay, so he can just move damage around, and then people just don't know like what to do when he does it, and like they have to play around him, and if they kill him, yeah, it sucks, but like they wasted a whole turn killing him typically, and you just, if they have like he's not great for late game, but he is amazing in early game, and he's a force enabler. I don't know. I actually use him. I got rid of the old Grogu, and I just have him now. I don't even run old Grogu anymore. I just run this guy. So,
wow.
Do you ever play It Binds All Things a lot?
I don't, but it probably would be good with him.
Well, it binds all things on a body.
Okay.
And I played that a fair bit in set 1, a little bit in set 2, and that card was really, really strong because you're just moving, like you're just healing damage, moving around. So it's really good for like popping shields or killing things behind sentinels and all that stuff. And it fits stupid well into Hunt 2 decks.
Mm-hmm.
Because you just heal off the 2 damage that you just did.
You know what the best
6
is?
health is a lot.
You if Vader runs into him, he can't kill him unless he puts the shield on him. So just as an FYI. Like,
Nice.
And if Vader wants to kill my Grogu, because if that's what they want to do, then Merry Christmas is what I always say.
Hey, you can do it in Garth Saxon if you timely him out.
All right. That's true.
JJ will.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, let's move on. What's the next one?
For not my number 5, I have Yoda, 8-cost green hero Yoda. I using the Force with a board is pretty nasty. And also I think it's really disgusting when you have both Yoda on your side and like Chariot. Because when they go to attack Chariot, you spend the Force to give them -2 and then just blow them up because you have Yoda's ability. And then it's back to you, and you can get the Force and tell them that it's really difficult for them to break your board. Also, healing 5 is pretty nice, and a 5/9 body is pretty cool too.
Yep. He is dangerously good in Yoda, and he's dangerously good in Obi, so
it's a little bit rough because he can't be like Jedi Counselor and then drop Yoda and have the healing effect. But I think he's just like a solid like hero endgame kind of card. It's just you get the heal and then you can start blowing up their board and try to catch up from there.
All right, JJ, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is the villainy aspect HK97 Assassin Droid. Absolutely love this card here for what it can do. Now, its attack and defense or health is not really all that great, right? Because it's just a 4 health and 4 attack unit. But its when defeated ability, dealing 2 damage to each ground unit, is really good. If you're putting this in control decks, actually, I would love to put this in a Palp deck for a set 1 pop deck to like ping when you need to, and then just deal 2 damage to everybody. And then if you're on a turn where you can deploy palp, just take control of one of the units that you pinged with this. It's really great. Gets even more ridiculous in a Thrawn deck. If you're doing this twice, you're dealing 4 damage to everybody that's out there. It feels like a super laser blast almost when you're using this particular card. Has a lot of utility there. It doesn't quite work on decks where you're trying to play out a lot of units out on the board. So you kind of have to pick and choose when you're going to use this. But if you're trying to control your opponent's board until you can bring out your much bigger units, this is a great droid to have out on the board to help deal out a lot of damage to a lot of different units at once. So, yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, it does kind of hurt that it's
Only
each ground unit. Well,
Yeah.
also it's everyone, but it's always cool to see those kind of droids. I like them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I did not think about him in Palpatine, to be perfectly honest with you, but that does make a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Though today I was playing my red Palpatine deck that I've been testing out, and I had somebody I palped something to do 1 damage to something, and I forgot that I had top target on that stupid thing, and then they decided to heal what I did the damage to, and I was like, oh man. All right, well. I will say though, I mean, being able to like bring Palp out and drop a crate dragon, whatever, like I just gave up caring about taking one of their units and just said, fine, deal with my crate dragon. Oh, I got a second one. Are you gonna kill this one too? So anyway, let's move on to our number 4s. In the number 4 slot, I'll go first because mine is Yoda. Very close to what Alex's is for exactly the same reasons Alex has said. Like he is a little bit higher. I like him better than Kelleran for the pure fact that he becomes this monster you have to kill. And so against like a control deck, it's a little bit less effective in terms of that, but you do still get to blow things up, and you get to blow things up all the time. So like they have to kill Yoda. He cannot sit on the board. And if they do not kill him, he's just crazy. I do also like him in Hunter, by the way. But that's because I have another Yoda now, so I'm super excited that I have ways to cycle Yodas.
Sure.
But anyway, that's just neither here nor there. I actually just think like Yoda is one of the best design cards in this set. I think Yoda tops this is one of the best design cards. So
Nice.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. Alex, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is Kiadi Mundi. It's the 4/4 for 4 red hero. When played, spend the force, draw 2 cards. I mean, card draw is not like crazy huge in this game, but
it is when they pillage you all the time.
Sure, but also like it's basically free when you have the force, right? So you might as well drop them. And like Han 2, it's pretty nasty just to draw 2 for like a 3-drop. 4/2, whatever, you're trading anyways. I just think he's just a solid, like, if you have the force and you're red, you should probably heavily consider this card because drawing can help. Yeah, and especially if you're playing against a lot of heavy discard stuff. Obviously.
Yeah. JJ, what's your number 4? You have the wild pick here, so I want to know why you got this at number 4.
So this was a wild pick, and mainly because I was like revamping my Garsaxon deck yet again for set 5, and this one just came up, and it actually was very, very consistent for me, considering that you can put this on the first drop, right? So Pelimato comes in as a neutral card, 2 costs, 1 attack, 4 health. Nothing amazing there, but her ability is on attack, she gives an experience token to a friendly vehicle or droid unit. And typically on turn 3, I'm already dropping a vehicle unit that has a shield on the side over there. So if I have like a TIE Defender, I can boost it and make it a 5 attack, 3 health, if I'm not mistaken, with Pelly, and then I can swing into the opponent's base with that 5 attack, or I can take out another enemy space unit and still have that Gar Saxon effect on there. It's really, really easy to build decks that are just vehicles and droids. She works in the JTL Vader set to buff a lot of those TIE fighters that come out. She works very well as well with any deck that has the Dark Phase Troopers, Sentinel units on there. And it actually enhances them more because since they have more health, they can absorb more damage and then still get more experience as they build themselves up. So she really helps enable a lot of these other units that just get better with experience. So she is a sneaky little hit that I didn't expect for her to do as well as I thought she did. And I mean, in worst case scenario, if your opponent decides to attack her in particular and leave one of your better units out on the board, I mean, that's a-okay. Your unit survives and gets to swing into the base and deal more damage, and your opponent has to deal with it. So I like her a lot. She's a great utility piece that goes in a lot of different decks, and she's great, and she's cheap.
She's in my Cal deck. That's all I can say. So she's in my Cal deck.
She'd be pretty interesting for things like Swarming Vulture Droid decks, right?
Yes.
Or like the Green Invisible Hand, right? Which just pulls droids out there. So I can kind of see that. I mean, like, you double dip with the Vultures because they're droids and vehicles already, but, you know, you're pulling out droids, like you're saying, like the B1, the B2, the Sentinels.
Yeah.
She's great. I can see it.
I think we need a card that lets you play a droid with a 1 discount. There you go. That's what I need. All right.
I thought Watambor should have been that, right? Because he helps like build these droids, and like he should have been that lead or ground unit that gives that discount. So would have been great.
All right, we'll go on to our number 3s. Mine's easy. Mine's Kian Moonday for the exact same reason Alex said, except for I hate people discarding my hand, even though that's the format I like to play. I don't like it when it happens to me, and I think Key is just one of the best cards because of that. So I don't. There's no other reason. It's just exactly what Alex said, except for I like it because people like to discard, and I like to play Han too, and he makes Hammerhead so good. Like just. It's bad. So anyway, let's move on. JJ, we're gonna go with your number 3 next. Like, what's your number 3? You have Ray in here. I need to understand why, because I found one deck, only one deck, maybe 2 decks I want to play her in, and that's it.
So she is great. Like, she's a 5 cost, a hero in heroic aspect, coming in with 5 attack, 5 health. Her ability to help her like deal out damage is really great. You can actually put her in a double red like leader. You can put her in probably I can't think of the right one. I think I want to say the one that I tested was Bo-Katan along with like Mando's. You can deal out a lot of damage with her out on the board. And the fact that you can use her just by revealing her from your hand and dealing 2 damage to your unit and 2 to the base, you don't even ever have to have have Ray out on the board and just constantly reveal her like every turn. And I think having that kind of power of just constantly being able to use her ability from revealing and dealing out 2 damage is super strong. And yeah, sure, you can deploy her and she's still pretty great. Probably would be better if she had like a decent lightsaber or some type of equipment to help her like deal more damage out there, but just having that ability to just reveal, do 2 damage to your unit and 2 damage to your base, super strong in the long run. She's like a free event card basically at that point. The caveat is, of course, having a lot of red units on there, which is not that hard, especially in hero. And there are a lot of different like heroes that can really take advantage of it. And yeah, I think she's just I think a little overpowered just for her ability, just for that. So yeah.
Well, she's in my Ray and my Yoda deck, so there you go.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you could do things like psychometry, right? Where you can just pull her up, or like Yoda and kind of being able to draw cards with like C-3PO loop or something and just keep putting it back on top of the deck. You can get her going. It's kind of cool.
All right, let's move on to what's your number 3, which is also my number 2.
Yeah, we had a lot of very similar ones here in like 3, 4, and 5. I have Obi-Wan, the starter deck card, or sorry, the spotlight deck here, the 3/5 conditional Sentinel. When played, he is Sentinel. When you play a Force unit, he gains Sentinel. 3/5 Sentinel for 3 is really good. We learned that in set 1 with Emperor's Royal Guards. And just dropping them is kind of like the calculating magnet cards, right? Where it's just like, well, he has Sentinel and then he can get it back kind of thing. It's pretty nice. And plus, if you're playing a Force deck, you're probably playing a Force unit every turn, right? By and large. So he's just a really strong 3-drop.
Yeah. So he's my number 2 for the exact same reason. So I don't have any other. There's nothing else I'm going to tell you that's different. So, Alex, go ahead. Tell us about your number 2 now. So let's just we're going to skip over
your
to
top 10, which is kind of wild.
Yeah. I thought about it. It probably should be, but I don't know.
Hey, like Grogu's like my number 11. Like we have some similar stuff. So my number 2 is Mace Windu. Do I think Yadi Moody's probably better in general? Yeah. Am I more excited that I have Mace Windu? Yes. When played, spend the Force, deal 4 damage to a unit's really good, and he's a 6/6 overwhelm for 6. You can drop him in like Han 2. He's a 6/4 for 5, and just kill Kira on flip, which is pretty nice. Again, if you have the Force and you're generating a lot of the Force, I think he's a very strong card to pick. Just doing out of hand damage and then also having a 6/6 overwhelm body seems really nice. And I guess he is red for the one person who plays Mace Windu's lightsaber in their Mace deck. Synergy there.
That's JJ.
Well, yes. You have 3 red Mace Windus now.
Yep.
That you can
have
do
a reason
with.
to now. So
yes.
In fairness, we were actually testing Mace Blue a little bit because we felt that was pretty strong in set 3. And we have that officially in our Mace Blue deck. Just for the pure fact that it's like there's so much you could do with it now. So
got 7 of them now, right? It's like Luke's.
So it's a little bit easier to want that.
I think it's just solid. I mean, just out of hand damage has always been pretty good, and then like a 6/6 overwhelm is solid.
Yeah.
All right, JJ, what's your number 2?
I was gonna say for that Mace deck, you also run in the Marauder as well if you want to, just to have that extra, Yeah, great. So my number 2 here is the green and billing aspect and Drengir Spawn for 4 costs, coming in at 3 attack, 3 health. This one has Overwhelm, and when you attack an defeated unit, it gives out a number of experience tokens to different units out there. I actually think this is great a lot, because especially if you're facing off against like low to the ground decks, particularly like set 2 Han or Sabine, you're able to have this unit out. You can either do like a timely intervention, get this unit out immediately and defeat a unit immediately. You just got to pick and choose the unit that you're going to attack into, just so you can get the full benefit of this particular card. Or even better, if you have this out and you have like a shoot verse on top of that, you can probably trigger that multiple times and like give buffs to more units and give out experience points. This, I think, is actually worth testing this out in a lot of different decks that might be like a penalty for it. I actually like this in a Kanan deck. I thought it was really great, although Pain 6 really hurt. But having having that ability to just continually buff units, and if you're able to build this unit up a lot by giving it different types of like either like experience points on itself to make it stronger, or giving it a shield so that way it can still take the hit and kill a unit, is super super strong. As it gets more experience, it gets stronger, it gets better, and having that overwhelm aspect later on, which is really great because you can choose this particular unit as a target of an OB, and then deal damage to a lot of units with the OB, and then go into a unit and still deal that overwhelm, is super strong. So there's a lot of great utility for this particular unit in villainy. I think this is something that should be a staple in a few decks that can really take advantage of that, and it's awesome. I also like this in a Maul deck as well. It's really great. It's fun.
Doesn't it have to survive though, or no?
Yes.
Nope, it just needs to defeat a unit.
I think it has to survive though.
Well, you're only giving the experience to itself, so you would need to.
Okay,
When the unit attacks and defeats a unit, give
Yeah,
a number of
that's why I go
experience
for
tokens
shoot first
to this
or
unit.
Yeah.
Hmm?
That's why I would choose to do it with like a shoot first or a or
Yeah,
it shielded in order for it to survive that and get
yeah,
that.
yeah. But it's just like that unit has to attack and live through it to give the experience to itself.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
what I thought. Okay.
That's all that Tanner's asking there.
Yes, I just want to make sure that you can't like swing into a Luke and kill
No.
the Luke, and then all of a sudden you get the 7 or 6 experience thing, and you get to live.
Yeah. Imagine
That
if
was-
you had access to TLT and just like one shot something.
Oh,
Yeah, I
all
mean,
right,
you just give it lightsabers as a creature. You can do whatever.
you can definitely do that. I don't agree with it, but you can. All right, so let's move on to our number ones for the night.
Well, you didn't talk about your number 2.
Did I? Did I not? Yes, I did. Mine's Obi-Wan.
Yeah, no, I think you just.
I skipped over it because it's the exact same. My
Yeah.
Obi-Wan is the same as your Obi-Wan. There's no other reason other than the fact that through testing, I've actually found him more useful than I had found Chirrut, in the fact that if you're going to run hero, he's just so good. And like he's in fairness, he's definitely designed for the OB deck. Like that's really what he's designed for, because you could give him the experience token. Now he's a 4/6, but he forces people to just pass. Like they don't want to swing into him, so he's not Sentinel. I don't know why. I think you should just kill him. If you could kill him or put damage into him, just kill him. But he works really well with Grogu, by the way. Just as an FYI, because you play him, they swing into him, can't kill him, you claim, and next turn you're just moving damage off of him and laughing a little bit. So, all right, let's move on to our number ones. Let's do our number ones. My number one is Anakin, which neither of you had Anakin anywhere, and I thought that was a little odd. I think this card is amazing, and I'll tell you what, Alex, if you or JJ get this card and you don't want it, and I will happily trade you other cards for this card, because I have a feeling this card is going to be hard to get. The reason I pick Anakin as my number one is he's the Force and Jedi tags, right? And I don't care about Republic. He's a 6 cost. That comes in. He has insanely amazing artwork. I love the artwork on this. So, like, there you go. But because of the fact that you get the -3 when played, he is really, really, really good. And it allows, and maybe it's because a lot of the decks I'm running have the Force Lightning. I've been running off aspect in some of my decks. But what it's doing is being able to get something -6 plus being able to put a body down is really, really good. So for example, in Han, you have what's called Heroic Sacrifice, right? That's your hero card that can be played. Well, Heroic Sacrifice that you could play in your Han decks can actually be played in a villain deck for 3 costs, and it allows you to kill your own unit, and now you've just activated Anakin. So I don't know. I have found that he I didn't think it would be very easy to get the -6 off. But if you build your deck in a specific way, it's actually really good. And he is an insanely hard thing to kill at 7 health. He is like just swinging into him. And then if you put Chirrut next to him, I mean, like you just cry every single turn. So that combo between those two are just so good. But that's why I like Anakin. I don't know. He's tested very, 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 very well for me.
Interesting. I've had other people tell me like they've been testing Anakin and they're just like not nearly as impactful as I was hoping for. But
Yeah,
also maybe they're not running a lot of villainy cards in their throw deck and whatnot. So
I think I need to reconsider my approach with using Anakin because I really wanted him to work out much better for me, and I don't think I took a different approach for him. But listening to how you're doing it, I think that probably is the better way. So he probably will rank higher for me once I get a chance to retest him again. But I kind of struggled using him a lot, and like I felt like I had to work for it a little bit more and to make it happen like more consistently. But yeah, he definitely sounds like a good card.
All right. What's your number 2, JJ? I think are you number 1? You already told everybody what your number 1 was, but go ahead, tell us again.
Yeah.
Make it sound exciting. Give me a 1 minute synopsis.
We're gonna choose the superior Anakin, which is Darth Vader, and he's the 6-cost blue villainy. His ability allowing him to give shield token to a friendly unit, which he can choose himself, and then on attack he can defeat. He can give a shield to an enemy unit when he played, and then on attack he can defeat an enemy unit with the shield token on edge. Just super strong. Just begs to be played either via ECL or a timely intervention to have him come in and immediately eliminate a unit and then swing into another unit and take him out as well. Just super, super strong. There are so many decks that really take advantage of this particular Vader. I particularly love him in Gar Saxon. He gets that extra attack buff when he is played with timely intervention, and he just deals massive amount of damage as soon as he comes out. Just an absolute board changer when he comes out, and he's just very, very easy to trigger when you need him. So for his versatility, for his costs, and for what he can do, he was a no-brainer for me.
All right. Alex, what is your number 1?
Oh, it's Chirrut. I mean, you already talked about him. I think it's just a really solid piece. I mean, like you said, you should only go in Force decks because if you have no ways of generating the Force, why are you playing him? But in decks where he is the Force, where you have the Force, I think he's just kind of really, really silly. If you're playing against like a Sabine deck or whatever, they can flip Sabine. You drop Chirrut. If you have the Force, Sabine does 1 damage to your base, and that's it. Doesn't even hit him. Just eats 3 damage back. Like he can stonewall some things pretty nice. And I tend to play like a fair amount of blue because control. So I mean, it seems really strong. And I already mentioned the him with the combo of Yoda of just blowing things up. So.
I was gonna say Electro Staff for the extra hurt.
Even more disrespect. You can like
don't tell him these things. I don't want him.
I mean, like if you play Obi-Wan, you could just give him an experience. You gotta sequence it correctly, but 4/6, and they'll give it Electro Staff. Now they're -3. It's fine.
He is in my Obi blue deck.
Yeah, I think he should be. If you're making a blue Force deck, I think he's kind of an auto include. And him being neutral is very flexible.
All right. Well, that was our top 10 cards to watch for. That took a lot longer than I thought it would take us to go through. So next on the list, I promised you decks, folks. I promised you decks. And I promised you decks. I promised you decks from leaders that we normally would not build for. So I put the tag with a less amazing leader. I didn't know what else to call it. But basically, we have 3 new Legends of the Force decks that we wanted to go over. JJ, you were given the task to build a Morgan Elsbeth deck. I don't see any one-offs, so I'm going to give you a round of applause for not doing that.
Yes, I actually wanted this to be a little more consistent, a little more competitive on there. So I kind of went with a little more consistency for this one here. So I went with a blue base on her, mainly because I found it easier for me to have the right amount of cards that I wanted to trigger her ability. And just a reminder, whenever you have a unit with a keyword out on the board, she can you can play another unit that shares that same keyword for -1 discount. So making sure they can chain the keywords together really helps. So for this one here, I went with to start off. We got 2 top targets, 3 copies of Director Krennic, 3 secretive sages, 3 super laser techs. 3 the clients, 3 power of the dark sides, 3 resupplies, 2 dark tyrannuses, 2 shuttle ST-148s, 2 takedowns, 2 copies of the MC-30 assault frigate, 3 super commando squads, 3 OBs, 3 CR-90 relief runners, 3 cargo juggernauts, 3 Trident assault ships, 2 Count Dooku's, 2 super laser blasts, and then 3 executors to round off the list on here. So to start off, what I wanted to do was start having the shielded units on there, particularly like Director Krennic and the Secret Sages, which come in with shielded. This allows you to play either Darth Tyrannus, the shuttle, or the client for 1 less if you wanted to. Krennic also has the ability to allow you to play the super laser tech for cheaper as well. So if you have him on the board there, just being able to play him for 2 costs instead of 3 is really great. I did want to have a good amount of ramp on here just so you can get some of the larger units out there quicker, especially with the discount. It helps you bring out those bigger units a lot easier. And then having a good amount of control with all the different event cards like powers of the dark sides and takedowns, just make sure that your opponent's side doesn't get too out of hand on there. And then having my closing units between Count Dooku and the Executor really makes it nice. I found it a little difficult to have overwhelm like have more units with overwhelm with this particular deck, but I figured if I have enough ramp I can get the executor after like a turn 8, after playing like a Trident assault ship or the MC-30, and be able to play that with a 10 cost and have enough resources to play that out. I could also, if by some miracle I have Director Krennic out there playing it for 9, is even greater. And yeah, I thought this was actually a fairly good deck for what it is. Feels a little janky, but it has a good amount of control. And when you're able to get those big units off, it feels really great.
So I will tell you, I gotta ask, just why the Executor over Devastator? That's all. I'm not trying to be nitpicky. I actually really like this deck, to be honest with you. Like, I think there's some legs with this deck. The question though is, why not Devastators?
So the reason I wanted the executors mainly because I wanted that potential for that double discount, right, between the overwhelm and the one defeateds. I could definitely swap that in for the Devastator, but having that ability to have that really big ship coming in at 12/12 for a cheaper cost, and having that those TIE fighters out there, it just completely helps fill out your space units a lot quicker than a Devastator would. Granted, you probably could get the Devastator out for probably like 8 costs, which is pretty good. But I just felt like this had a bigger impact, and I'm only paying about 1 more resource, or if not 2 more resources more than a Devastator, and it's a lot. It's a lot more impactful. Even if your unit has like a takedown of like ready for it, I can just fill up my board with a bunch of token units and just keep on attacking as I need to.
I mean, the 2 cost discount on the Executor is also the same as the 1 cost discount on Devastator.
Yeah.
I do really like the Devastator, and it would work well with your like conditional sentinel. I guess you get off the Super Commando squad or whatever.
Yeah.
You just need like another like first turn play. Honestly, because it's just like you just have Krennic in the Sage.
Yeah, exactly. Having another first turn play was kind of tough, and I've had to definitely mulligan my fair share of hands trying to get this to work correctly. But at the same time, it's like I felt like it takes away from the power of the deck if I start like taking away like events or some of the other units in order to do that. So it's a work in progress, but I think that this definitely has potential. It has legs.
I think I would either dump the I would dump the top targets. I think that's what I would do, JJ. I think if you take the top targets out, you can put in, and I would just then run 51 cards because that's just, I mean, I don't run 50 cards anymore ever. I don't do it. But I think you could put like, I like that Secretive Sage in there. Or whatever that Sage guy is called. I think he's actually really he's kind of a sneaky good 2-drop. That you could kind of put in there, but I think what's the other you could put the shuttle in there that gives you the healing that we put in all our Thrawn decks, the Onyx Brute. That would be another like 2-drop. I think there's other ones, but like off the top of my head, that's probably, if you're looking at healing, that's a good one for it.
Yeah.
If you're also looking for some combos, like the Exegol Patroller that comes out in this set, the 3/1, it's got Overwhelm on it for 2.
Ooh,
so you can do like that can combo with the MC30 or whatever.
Yep. All right. Well, let's move on to the next one. What happened? Why? How did we get all blue-green tonight? Jesus. Alex, your challenge was to build an Ahsoka deck. Tell us about your Ahsoka deck.
I messed around with yellow. Wasn't feeling it. Kind of messed around with mono blue. Would rather play Rey. So I went with green. So I just went Ahsoka green, Jedi Temple, whatever, just the 4 space. So it's got triple Owen Lars, double of the what is that? Soresu stance. I don't know exactly how to pronounce that correctly. I made a word, triple Timely, triple Gunji, triple Jedi Counselor, triple Arc, restored Arc, triple Yaddle, triple Obi-Wan, the Green Sentinel, triple 3-cost Blue Yoda, triple General's Blade, triple Bright Hope, triple Chariot, triple Shatterpoint, double Kiadi, double Obi-Wan's Aether Sprite, double Rivals, triple Luke, double Redemption, triple Yoda, the 8-cost one. In the side, I have double Concord Dawn, double Fel, double of the Jedi Temple Guards, the one that ambushes out, a single Redemption, and triple Reinforcement Walker. This is mostly just like a mid-range, sort of try to be efficient. General's Blade, a whole bunch of Jedis in there. It's got a lot of Restore, and I also kind of want to keep space honest, which is why it's like, well, I have triple Bright Hope, I've got double Obi-Wan's Aether Sprite, which no one plays but me and Justin. But it's so good at just knocking out space units. And then a couple, sideboard cards to deal with certain things, right? If they're controlling your stuff, then you really need the Force. Like you put in the Jedi Guards because they have ambush. If you're going against space, you just put in more Concord Dawns, right? If you're long games, you can get the Walkers for healing. And also giving like a Sentinel to a Reinforced Walker is pretty disrespectful to your opponent.
I'm kind of surprised you don't have those main deck.
I had to cut something right.
True.
And being a Force deck, like they don't give you the Force, but this is already like 52 cards, so I didn't want to like go super crazy with that.
Yeah, because the only other thing that I guess you can move your redemptions to the side and put those in, but that just kind of feels bad. Like you're trading one set type of healing for another. And
then you lose out even more in space, which is what I'm kind of worried about too.
Yeah. I actually kind of wish we had more ships that like could trigger Force stuff. Like they didn't give us ships that would, when you swing in, it would trigger the Force. Now I wish they would give us ships that would swing in and trigger the Force.
Then there's no drawback. The balance.
No, I want that. Other than that, I don't like Shatterpoint, but I guess that makes sense with the Force. It's fine.
My replacement for Fel the Dragon, honestly. Yep. It's a more versatile Fel the Dragon in this case.
It is. I have found I just like Fel better. But that's because But in this deck, you're probably not hurting to get the force that often.
Yeah, there's not a lot of like spend the force triggers. It's mostly just like Chariot and the Jedi Counselor. So that's why, and like Yoda. Well, not even Yoda. So it's like that's why I'm just like, one, it's another trigger for Yoda, and two, it's just like you should pretty much always have the force, so you can use Shatterpoint. But yes, if I want to do something like kill the Purgle King, I use Shatterpoint because I can't fell a dragon it.
Yeah, which is crazy.
You know what you can do? You can fell anything once you put Size Matters Not on it. Oh yeah, this is just Sentinel Restore. Please don't kill me, I'm Ahsoka. Sucks that Ahsoka's not a Jedi, so General's Blade doesn't work with her.
Yeah, which is a little weird, right? Because like technically she was a Jedi, so I mean, like I don't know, JJ, is there a lore reason I'm missing that she wouldn't get the Jedi tag, or are they just thinking it's too broken if she would?
Well, I mean, if they're going for pure theme and lore, I mean, Ahsoka has said around the time that they're depicting her that she's not a Jedi, and she said that many, many times in the various shows that she's been on. So I think they just went for that particular theme for it. But honestly, I don't see why not. She couldn't have the Drake because she's Jedi trained. So, but yeah.
Okay. So it was like Dooku, right? But the young version, the 3-cost ambush Ahsoka, is a Jedi.
Yep.
So I wonder if it's just because like she's older that she just rejected all the. I'm assuming that's what that is, right?
Yeah. At the end of Clone War, like so at the end of Clone War, she leaves the Jedi Order. Like because there's a whole. She basically knew about Palpatine in some way, shape, or form, right? And so she rejected the cult and that the Jedi was turning into, and so because she rejected it, like they basically got rid of her and said you can't be a part of it, and that was like a big downfall between her and Anakin. And like even though like the Padme thing was like held up as the reason Anakin turns to the dark side, officially she is also part of it. Like there's a convoluted story inside of there. I love that. I just said that in the picture of JJ, like looked like he was nodding his head to me. But there's a there's that is part of the convolution like behind this, because like in reality, like he was very close with Ahsoka. Like Anakin and Ahsoka were like, you could not separate them. So like I understand why lore wise technically they would do it, because she left once the Clone Wars is over and Palpatine installs the Empire. Like she is not a Jedi and hates the Jedi for what they did.
Yeah, the 4-cost one from last set, the JTL, she's not a Jedi either. She's fringe, like this one. So I'm assuming it's because she's older, she's not a Jedi anymore.
Yeah,
it just sucks that it doesn't work with General's Blade, but you want General's Blade in this deck because of efficiency reasons, right? Like,
yes.
Yeah, I think set 3 is the only version of her that is a Jedi. That's it.
Sad day. All right, we'll move on to the last deck that we have for you. I built a Rey deck. There you go. I said we wouldn't do people we put in the D category, but I did anyway. And then I played this deck, and I've actually gotten like a 55 to 60% win rate with this deck, which was so much more than I ever thought it would have. So yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm actually kind of excited about this deck. Like, that's the only deck I have Anakin, 1-cost Anakin in, just so you know. Like, it's the only one I have. But I have 3 of the 1-cost Anakin Skywalkers, the baby ones that come in hidden and shielded. 3 Force Lightning, 3 Force Throw, 2 Psychometry, 2 of the Trust Your Instincts, 3 Adi Gallias, 3 of the N1 Starfighters, 3 of the Youngling Padawans, 3 Grogus, which probably don't have to be in there, but I love Grogu so much I put them in there. 3 Falcons, old school Falcon, 3 of the Red 5s, 3 Vern Nestras, 3 of old, what do we call her? Old Ahsoka? Is that what you're calling her, JJ? Old Ahsoka?
Ahsoka the White.
Ahsoka the White. There you go.
Dawson's.
Yeah. 3 keys that gives you the key on the Moody's, that give you the 3 or the 2 cards, 2 of the Quinlan Vosses, 2 Kit Fisto's Aether Sprites, 3 Plos. There you go. This is where I've put my Rays. 3 Rays. I told you I have Ray in a couple of decks. 2 of the Depas and 2 Mace Windows. My sideboard is somewhat untested. I have 2 Pillage, 2 of the Jedi in Hiding, 3 Fireballs, in case you need more space. 2 of the Do or Do Nots, because it draws you cards, which you don't need for the most part. But if we're going to get into the meta where people are discarding my damn hand, I want those cards. And 2 Bamboozled, because I actually think we're going to have to start running Bamboozled with all these stupid upgrades nowadays. Like we ran Bamboozled last set for the pure fact that, like people were putting pilots on ships.
Yep.
And now we're going to have to run it because people are Voltroning Kylos. Sam, that's directed directly at you, by the way. I hate. Anyway, let's not get into the Kylo deck. He has a deck tech. If you want to see a deck tech on an ECL Kylo, you can.
I do actually. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, so maybe we'll post it in the description. He made it this weekend. We talked a little bit, and he's been testing that deck quite a bit. So anyway, long story short is Rey's power is basically does not require you to use the Force, which I did not realize when we covered her. I actually thought you had to use the Force. You don't have to use the Force with her. So a lot of these cards just have to have the Force ability, and you have to be able to use them. Yes, Force Lightning is a great card in this deck. Period, for the pure fact that I can throw it as a discarded card if I need to. But it also lets me hit my draws. You are typically probably need a few more Force cards if you want to get her ability off every turn. But the card that stands out is the Psychometry in this deck. Like, holy crap, like in this deck does that work really well, because you can bring in cards, whatever you don't have, you can bring into your hand. So the way the deck works is you want an Adi or an Anakin or a Youngling Padawan as your turn 1 card, and you can play Anakin and Force Throw, by the way, on turn 1, and then activate Rey, and it is like Tarkentown kind of. So it works very well. Because you could play the Anakin and the Force Throw, and then now you need to replenish your hand because you have nothing in your hand. But I don't know. I found this deck has actually worked out decently well for what it can do. And when Rey hits the board at 7 resources, her ability just if you have nothing, if you have nothing in your hand or you have cards you don't want, it's amazing. Like, you get 2 cards. That's like what it is. Like, if you have 2 Anakins in your hand, for example, you could discard your Anakins and get 2 cards. If you have a Force Lightning in your hand you can't use or something like that, you just discard it and you can draw 2 cards. So that part of it is there. When she hits the board, though, she is really good. She is really good at 6'2" or 6'7", 6'8". Yep, and she is a lot harder to kill than I thought she would be. She lives typically that turn you would deploy her and the next turn.
You would hope.
Unless they pour all their resources into her, and then they've left all your other units alone. I also have found that Psychometry works very well with Rey, the Rey unit. And it works super well. And Keanu Moody works with the Rey unit, by the way, which I never really thought of until now, until I played this deck. And Rey that Rey unit being able to play that as a 5/5/5 is actually pretty decent. Like for this deck specifically. So that's kind of my take on this deck. I like it a lot. The Quinlan Vosses are probably the weakest link in this deck, because you don't really have a ton of stuff to pump him up with. You could run Hotshot Blasters if you wanted. You could also run other attack like spells to pump him up, but if I had to cut something, that's probably the first thing that I would go down is the Quinlan Vosses in this specific deck, just because I don't have a ton of pump spells for him. So,
yep.
But there you go. That's my Rey deck. So
nice, man. I like it.
Yeah, JJ, you can play this deck. This actually feels like a U style deck. To be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely my alley. This is something I definitely want to play for sure.
Yeah. And like I said, like her being able to play or you like ping something for one is actually more impactful than originally I kind of thought it would be. I still don't think she's going to be top tier, but there's this. So, all right. Anybody have any other thoughts on it?
No, nothing else, man. I mean, I can't wait till we get our pre-releases. I hope to make it out to an event for this round because I'm just excited to play a lot of these new leaders and cards, man. And yeah, just super hyped.
Yeah, I'm excited for this set to drop. I can't wait to play in person with a bunch of new cool cards.
All right. Well, the last thing we have is let's go look at the showcases real quick. You guys want to look at showcases and the fancy looking cards?
Fancy.
Yeah, I guess. Let's go.
All right. So these are the showcases. I don't know. I guess you can all pick your favorite ones. I think this Anakin is awful, though.
He looks like the anime like a short clip that Disney was putting out, like Legends of the Force or something, or Legends of the Galaxy or something. Like Galaxy Adventures. That's that version of Anakin that they brought in and put it on that particular card. That's exactly what I think.
He's got fuck me eyes. That's what he has.
I was just gonna say he looks kind of like the late aughts Tumblr posts of Anakin that I've seen.
He also kind of reminds me of Steve from Stranger Things. So,
yeah. For me, I think my favorite right here is Kit Fisto, mainly because this is the only Kit Fisto that should ever exist, and no other versions. I mean, he looks dope as hell with that stance, and he doesn't look like a psychotic maniac with a stupid grin on the original.
He's not smiling enough, JJ. He's not smiling enough.
He's smiling just enough. Just enough. It's like
no, it's not even a grin.
You see the smile lines on his face. I mean, come on.
No,
he's smile lines, or is that an octopus face?
He's gritting his teeth, JJ. He's not smiling.
I think this is right before he gets stabbed by Palp, right?
Is it? It might be actually, because I think he's leaping out of what is he? What's the ship? The
Latin, yeah.
So I'm trying to remember. This is like episode or season 6, isn't it?
Yeah, sounds about right. Yep.
I do like the Rey and the Kylo, except for the Kylo looks like he's like trying to like blow a kiss to you. He's like,
I was about to say, he looks like that thing that they gratuitously added into one of the Star Wars movies, the CGI lip thing lady that was singing at Jabba's palace.
Yes.
Oh, that's mostly what I see.
Yes.
I've got a solid joke for almost all of these, so.
So it's funny, the Darth Revan and Barriss Offee are almost identical looking too.
Like, same person drew them.
Yeah.
And they're both incredible. I had not many notes on those. Those are just really good. I like the lighting. Lens flare is a little bit strange, but
yeah, I think that Darth Revan is going to be worth a lot. Cal is very sad because there's no poncho. So this will be a $30 showcase. There you go.
The Rey kind of looks like, if you ever played X-Men Legends.
Yes.
Like it looks like an X-Men Legends character when you zoom in. For me, I don't, it's like a lack of just detail, and like the heavy black outlines are just like,
I like how
why is everything gray?
And it says nobody as well. It's just like nobody.
I don't know. I still think Avar Kriss just looks like Princess Zelda from Wind Waker.
It's the best. This is the best. I love it. It's my favorite. No, I love the showcase.
It looks like really bad cell shading.
No, I like it. I think it's great. Like this is actually one of my favorite ones.
I don't see how, and I question your sensibility of art and aesthetics.
You could, because I think the Snoke one is awful.
I love the Snoke one. It's so cool.
Like, I'm decrepit and unsmiling, and I'm going to give you a
like early 2000s Dark Horse comic style.
Ugh.
It's like a Spawn comic, and he's in a throne, so I have to get it. So I'm excited.
I know. I'm excited too because I'm hoping you get an Avar Chris and I get a Snoke and we can just trade because like that's just an easy straight up trade. I think right there. You can have Snoke. I'll take the Avar Chris. Kanan. I think Kanan's okay. That's makes sense that they use that artwork. I guess for him. Darth Maul.
They just painted over a screenshot of the movie.
Yeah, basically that's kind of what that felt like. Mother Talzin is amazing, and I 100% want that fucking card. I don't know why I want it so bad, but I really want that card. Like, I just love
gives
it.
off very like Courage the Cowardly Dog vibes. I like it.
Yeah. To me, she looks like Krang from Ninja Turtles. Like that's the
Yes. Okay, I can see that. Yep. I don't know. I want that showcase too. So like, if somebody pulls that and wants to trade, I will happily. I just want her, just that specific showcase. Just that
looks really cool. And the Qui-Gon, the Qui-Gon looks pretty good too. That's very legally different. Liam Neeson, it's great. I enjoy it. I like the colors.
Yeah, that one's okay. Morgan Elsbeth is, I don't like. At least they use an iconic scene from it, but I don't like it that much personally.
Yeah, it would have been best if they had her like with the mother's blade that she got, right, like in a fighting stance. I think that would have been best for her.
Should have used the Doctor Strange makeup.
Yes.
Third sister looks like she's
right to have a comic book.
Yeah, like it's okay. Like I wouldn't turn this one down personally. I don't hate it. The Grand Inquisitor one would be a million times better if they had violated the movie and just given him the stupid head from the fucking show and then put him with Reva and Fifth Brother. And I actually want that showcase just for the pure fact that like outside of his face, everything else is perfect in that one. Like the ship is perfectly balanced. There's Fifth Brother and Third Sister. Like I love it. I actually am going to go back and rewatch that show.
The blocking on the other side is a little bit strange because it's like very intentionally including all three of them.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks a little bit awkward on the other side, but I think it's okay.
Yeah. The last two we have is Obi telling you to come over here. Say,
yeah, that little hair portion, like partition, like right over his eyes. He's got boy band vibes right there, bro.
It's looking like what I look right now. It's awful.
Yes, this is Alex.
It's Alex. You're now Obi.
Also, oh my god, look how muscular his fingers are. Those things are bulging.
It's all the force he's tunneling through them. And then we have Ahsoka. I actually like the Ahsoka one. To be perfectly honest with you, like I kind of hope this is like a cheap showcase. I kind of hope Carbonite's ruined showcase prices for me again, because like I kind of like the showcase. I like them when they're cheap. So I collected more showcases this set because they were under $100 than ever before. So
that's great.
That's her with in World Between Worlds, right?
Yes, but it's from the show, not from the TV. Yeah. It's not from the animated one. It's from the TV show. Yes.
Yeah, that is very Rosario Dawson. Like not legally different. Like the Obi-Wan doesn't really look too much like Ewan McGregor. This one looks very much like Rosario Dawson.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually like it though. It's not my favorite. My favorite is Mother Talzin. I just love that one like so much. I was so excited when they released that. Here's the prestiges. I am excited about Old Daka only. That is about the only one that's on here. I like the Ezra run too. I won't lie and say I like the Ezra one. Because it's got his original lightsaber in it, and it's got his weird like stormtrooper-y hat that he had from the TV show. Yeah. But I like the fact that like in Destiny he had the lightsaber, the like gun lightsaber. That was awesome. I love that. Other than that, I don't like any of they're fine. They're just
the Kylo's okay. It's just the purple and the gold colors they used doesn't make things like pop super well.
Yeah.
So like it just kind of and like the purple looks really weird when you have like a red lightsaber over it. It doesn't contrast really well.
I do like Corel has the 2 lightsabers. I do like that.
And
Yeah,
that
Crow
looks a little
was
better.
definitely a highlight for that section, but I think Finestra also does a really. They put her in a really great pose, and the only person with the Force whip, um, it looks really good.
I don't mind the Kylo. If it was not a purple background, that Kylo would look pretty sick. If it was like on fire, that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just a little bit strange how they decided to do these blockings for this.
Yeah, because the gray one's the next one. Dune is my favorite. Like I
Dune looks
love that
nuts.
one.
yes,
I like the Chirrut one too for the most part. Like I think Chirrut's really good. The Dooku, like they went with a different style Dooku than they did like with the card art. And then you have Bendu, and Bendu
Bendu's
just
pretty cool.
like thank you for that.
I'm actually really down on that Zuckuss, which sucks because like I love Zuckuss, but it's very like modern, like 3D, but we're trying to replicate the hand-drawn art style. So it's just a little bit off-putting for me.
Yeah, for me, the oddest one is Sassay because the hands, the way that they drew it, it looks so awkward. Like I don't think that's how you're supposed to hold the lightsaber, bro. Like,
I mean, look at his eyes too, man. What is he
I
staring?
know.
Like his whole face is so silly and like really grumpy, but not.
He's trying to kill Bendu. There you go.
he's trying to change his style.
Right. If it was instead of courageous warrior, if it was cantankerous warrior, I can see it. But that one just it looks really weird.
Man, I wish they would go back and do a prestige for the original Bendu. That would be so nice.
I gotta say though, I want a copy of the daughter, the father, and the son. Like I want those cards so bad.
Yeah, those are going to be the highest priced ones, I think.
Yeah, those are my favorite by far.
Because that's the painting, right? That's the painting from Rebels.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just a mural. It looks incredible.
Yeah, those cards. Yeah, I know. Like that's part of the reason I want to buy one Carbonite box just to see if I get a chance to get something to trade for those because like they look amazing. The Yaddle, I don't know. I like Yaddle, but again these are all
one looks
weird.
I don't like that it's like sideways facing. Like I understand like that it's a panorama, but like I would like some action in my card, please. If I'm playing this from my hand, I don't want this for like to throw up on my wall to display it. I want to play this card, and it looks really lame when they're not even doing anything.
Yeah, the Mace, the Yoda, and the Kima, and the key, whatever,
Kiadi.
Yep.
That is like those ones are amazing. Like I would collect those. I like the Yoda, I like the Mace, and I like the key. Like I think the artwork, but that's also probably some of my favorite. Like brings back some of the best memories too. So
yeah.
Doesn't Kiadi Booty have like a dash between Adi and Mundi?
Yes.
And in this one that doesn't. Okay.
Yeah.
But I like them. I like the cards. I wish Yoda was a little bit bigger. I understand like depth wise that doesn't make sense, but like I would like him a little bit more bigger on my card, please.
So
that's my only complaint.
He's a tiny guy.
Like I said, it works for this panorama, but like I want to play these cards and I want Yoda to be like a little bit more front and center, not so far back.
The next one I don't see any whatever. They're just there. They're okay.
I don't mind the style.
Yeah, it's not. I don't have an opinion either way. Just like the next ones with Obi and Qui-Gon, I think are fine, but Anakin is awful. Like that is just an awful looking Anakin. Like that doesn't even look like young Anakin.
See, the only thing I would
have long hair.
The only thing I would have redeemed this is having Qui-Gon's like left hand pointing towards to the side, saying "Get into that ship," and like that probably would have redeemed this whole thing for me. But yeah,
or like Jar Jar Binks falling from the thing above it.
Oh yeah, right.
Just in the background between Qui-Gon and Anakin, that would have been great. Actually, these are I don't like these. The Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and Anakin. I don't like the color scheme is not what I want. Like it's not very eye catching, and I just don't really like this particular art style. Although the Anakin does look very Home Alone-y, but like Home Alone 3, where he had the stupid bowl cut too.
And then the last ones I have are the Balin and the Shin, and those are actually pretty dope.
Yes, they are.
I would collect those.
That's a pretty cool looking Ray Stevenson.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I wish they would have given him his pose, like when he fights Ahsoka for the first time, where he has the lightsaber held up over his right shoulder, like preparing to like defend or like deflect. I think that would have been a better pose for him. But man, like this is awesome, especially having the shuttle that they came in the background. Like, oh, it's just awesome. Love it.
Yeah. And then the last one is the Anakin, and it's not my favorite.
It looks like a comic book from the 90s.
Yeah. he looks like the Destiny card. There you go. Like when they made him a leader, him as this weird leader in Destiny. So
it looks like he's trying to force tickle somebody.
Stop it.
I mean, his right hand there is very tickling.
All right, we're done. I'm done. No, I'm cutting this off. We're not going to talk about tickling kids. He tickled kids to death. There you go.
No one ever said kids.
But he did. He killed the kids. That's like him killing kids.
Okay,
he
man.
Kids. You know he did. That's why he can't tickle them. All right,
no one said anything about tickling children. Like at all.
You did. All right, we're gonna wrap the show up. We're gonna wrap the show up. And obviously, it's way too late for all of us to be talking about these stupid prestige cards. But if you want them, they're there. I don't know. Like, they're whatever. Like, they're cool, I guess. So I don't care about them as much as I care about ships for some reason. How about that? Which I didn't think was possible. So, but with that being said, we will be back next week. We will have probably a shorter episode next week. JJ is going to be off next Sunday because JJ will be traveling to Cleveland. Like he said at the beginning of the show, if you know somebody or know of a store in Cleveland that he could play at with you, especially a pre-release, he would love that. If not, anything he could just go and join and play with, that would be awesome as well. Next week, the episode is going to we're going to bring a guest on. We have the gentleman that created a SWU analysis website, and I talked to him a little bit and really wanted him to come on so that I could actually pick his brain a little bit. And it's Eek Pair. I don't know if you watch our X-Wing stuff. Eek Pair was the guy that created one for X-Wing called Pattern Analyzer, and that we talked about that all the time. And this guy coming on, we're going to talk with him in the same manner. Eek Pair actually is the one that messaged me about this guy and told me, hey, by the way, this guy exists, so you should have him on your show. So anyway, next week you're gonna that our whole episode will be talking a little bit about pre-release and our like if we played any, and then it'll just be talking with him. And that's probably all we're going to cover next week. And then when we get back the week after, we'll actually start diving into some Galactic Championship stuff. What should you be playing? What should you be testing? Hopefully by then Alex will actually be playing the set and can give us more lists. So yeah, but anyway, with that being said, thank you all. Have a good night, and we'll see you next Sunday or on the Flippity Flop.
Have a good night, everybody.
Thanks for listening.